Live from CES 2026 in Las Vegas, this is the C-Space Studio, and I am your host, James Kotecki. Happy to be back, happy to be hosting nearly 50 interviews here over the next few days with leaders from Marriott to Mars, from Roblox to Reddit. We are ready to explore the future of human connection, and we want you to join us live. If you're watching us right now, just keep watching us. It could be on Facebook, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of those CES social channels, and you can find the entire schedule for what all the interviews are going to be over the next 2 days at ces.tech/C-Space Studio. Once again, we are so glad to be sponsored by our friends at Integral Ad Science. So glad they're supporting the many great conversations we have here in the C-Space Studio. And speaking of great conversations, I am so excited to welcome our first guest of the day, returning champion, Scott Porretti. This is like your third or fourth time here. You're the president of Katz Digital. Welcome back to CES and the C-Space Studio.
It's great to be back and great to be the first one of the 2026.
Super excited to have you, and we'd love you to just recontextualize, how are you positioning Katz Digital right now? What does the brand mean in 2026?
It's as strong and growing as ever and evolving. So, we are, Katz overall is the largest media sales organization in the globe, bringing all kinds of traditional assets as well as digital. I oversee the digital components, and we are serving ads from marketers on every platform known to man, from CTV devices to audio devices to mobile device, everything.
So as you say, it keeps evolving, but you've said that 2026 is going to be a major inflection point. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's. I think 2026 is going to mark this, unique year where you're going to see technology in all of its evolutions come to play for how we've seen media consumption evolve, but also these unbelievably large cultural events that are going to take shape this year. Yeah. And so when I say that, I think about sports. Right, so I know you're spending time in Madrid now, so you're familiar with soccer. So you've probably heard of the World Cup.
Heard of it.
That's going to be happening this year. I live in New Jersey. I mean, that's all anybody's talking about. We're going to be hosting the final there, so that's going to be a huge global event. You got the Olympics. This weekend is coming up with wild card football. So many big cultural events around sports, and then politics. So in the back half of the year, we're going to have the midterm elections. And that's going to be another big, event that's going to take shape.
And these events, like these calendar events that are you kind of want to be watching them live, or at least maybe in the case of the Olympics, nearly live. That makes a difference, right? I mean, the fact that it's live is important.
Yeah, I think, there are very few things today that we consume live and consume as a community and as an event, whether it's local or global or national, whatever it is. So sports represents that, in a unique way. And I think advertisers want to take part in that kind of cultural, events that are happening. And we're going to try to find ways to enable them to do that.
And then the political cycle, 2026, obviously so much going on in politics in general, and all of that crashing into what the latest technological advancements are. What are you going to be watching for, and what are you going to frankly be driving yourselves and making happen on the technological side for politics?
I think our goal is to help these campaigns and marketers and issue advertisers reach consumers. So they've seen a lot of disruption to their business model and how they reach people. They've had traditional ways of doing that have been fairly easy and evolved over time, and that's changing. Yeah. So they're looking for companies like ours that have worked with them for multiple years to help guide them on the best way that they can reach those customers or those voters or the people that they can influence.
And what are some of the ways they can do that now that they weren't able to do in the past?
Well, I mean, even things as particular as geographical targeting, right? That digital enables them to do a county, a zip code, a congressional district. New things like, for them in podcasting. The last presidential election, there was so much talk around podcasting and the impact of that. Those are great, audiences to reach, and we're helping them do that across different states. And then clearly the fragmentation on the video side with CTV and so many different places to consume video content, we're working with them to enable that.
And how much do you think, I mean, maybe it's hard to quantify, but how much does that move the needle, right? Because we were talking a little bit before this. Politics is so hard to reach the people that you want to reach. There's a very narrow sliver of persuadable voters, and they might not be easy to get, and everyone's competing so voraciously for them. So how much is the tech going to help people really get ahead?
So they are. I mean, and you're right. Everybody's looking for that small group. Now, I think different elections are for different things. So you're going to see on the primary side, people really trying to get out their voters, their core voters, and reaching those audiences. But then when it comes to more general elections, or issue-based, they're really, those persuadables are hard to reach. So there's a lot of things happening as people compete about how do we get the best data? How do we find these people? How do we attack them in cross-screen or cross devices that they're engaging with to hit them once, hit them twice? And then does the message matter for the content that they're advertising in? We advocate it does. So changing the messaging and the creative to fit the environment that it's in to make it more impactful.
Testing.
Testing, absolutely.
You mentioned podcasting. Digital audio is huge, continues to be huge. I imagine you're going to tell me 2026 is going to be huge for digital audio too. Yeah.
No, it is going to be big. I mean, I think that's that intersection of unbelievable amount of diverse, great content that's out there and technology that enables you reach those people and engage with them. So it just gets honestly better and better every year. But it's still that core, James, like audio is just an intimate medium that you consume in a special environment that whether you're relaxing or getting hyped up for something or trying to learn something new or learn a language, whatever these things you're trying to do, those are great environments for marketers to reach people in and capture them with their message.
And do you think that's still true, or does something change in a world where more and more the definition of podcast might mean a YouTube podcast? Or in other words, it's something that you could consume audio only, but a lot of podcasts are also putting the interviews in video form on YouTube or maybe other video platforms too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I personally think of podcasting like storytelling, right? So it's like an intimate thing. So for me, I think the best way to engage and listen to podcasts for me personally is an audio, because it's where I'm kind of engaged with the most. But certainly, I personally engage in video podcasting, and there can be some video elements to it. So there's just crossover in all kinds of different media types. What's a movie? Is a movie something that you consume on a short video form? So all these things are crossing over, but they all represent opportunities for marketers.
I've been doing this almost 10 years now, and I've been having conversations about definitions of terms and how those terms are changing and what we all mean when we say these terms for that entire time. I'm sure we're going to continue to do that.
Sure.
Of course, the term everyone's talking about is AI. Tell me about humanity in the age of AI. We've been talking about reaching humans, but we're obviously using AI to do that. And tell me where you position yourselves around that topic.
Yeah, I mean, look, it could be self-serving for our business, but I believe in human relationships and humans learning and guiding the business. That doesn't mean that there's not a big place for AI, and we would be foolish if we weren't trying to embrace it or looking for ways to do that. So, in our business, we're looking at AI to help us kind of take away some of the more painful tasks, enable us to run a better business, a more efficient business, and optimize against the audiences we have. But we still believe in the human being, engaging with customers, hearing about needs, and responding to that in some way. And that's I see it as that's not going away for a long time.
Do you think customer opinions on AI-created content are shifting or changing? Are they more or less willing to accept it?
It's a great debate, and I don't think we've got an answer on it, a consensus on it. I think there's a lot of people, their gut reaction is no, they don't want it, they think it's bad in some way, but a lot of times they're fooled about what it is. I think there's ways to use AI content, creative content, even from tags on ads to be more efficient in terms of things. But I think there's still real value in humans creating content and that getting distributed.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you could have a fully human-created piece of content and then have so much AI on the back end and still be kind of ahead of the game.
Correct.
In that scenario. That said, I do have a confession.
Sure.
Since you and I know each other so well.
Yes.
This year, this moment I'm in a mark in my life is like the first time I've been listening to some AI-created, not totally generated, but it's cover songs of songs I already knew, AI covers. They were so good, I listened to them unironically.
Okay.
Not even for the novelty, but because I've actually enjoyed them. So I feel the shift in myself, and I'm curious to see how this goes.
I mean, good content is good content.
That's right.
So if it's producing that in a way that you want to engage with it,
I'll tell you what's always good content.
Yes.
Conversation with Scott Porretti.
Oh, terrific.
Of Katz Digital. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure to be with you.
Have a great CES, Scott.
You too. Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching us. Stay tuned for more C Space Studio. I'm James Kotecki at CES 2026. More after this short break.